Hi there, my name is Adele. I'm the founder of Naked.Recovery. So you might be asking yourself, why do I have an inferiority complex? I feel inferior to people in life. And people who feel like that are constantly comparing themselves to other people. They always feel like they're not good enough. They can't do things well enough as other people. And it's kind of like everything is a competition or some sort of comparison activity. People that have that feeling of inferiority complex basically have almost a checklist within the sky where they're thinking, well, in this particular area, this is what is perfect. This is what perfect looks like. And I don't measure up to that. But what is not being said when you have an inferiority complex is that you also have a superiority complex. It's kind of the two go together. So if you are inferior, you also are in certain cases superior. So if you're looking at your checklist, in some cases you might be, well, I don't measure up to the checklist, but I measure up better than she does. So I'm actually better than her, but I'm not as good as him. And in that way, we kind of start to really alienate and distance ourselves from people. There's a jealousy, there's a fear of people, there's a constant competitiveness of people. And at the root of all inferiority and superiority complex is scarcity. It's kind of this feeling of, if the world is a competition and this is a dangerous place, I need to kind of either, get further up on the checklist, or at least need to beat all of these people down here. Now, what I notice with clients that we have that have this kind of inferior feeling is they are obsessed with social media. They're obsessed with photographs. They're obsessed with how they look. They're obsessed with beauty treatments or hair products or clothes or particular cars or material possessions. There's kind of this list in their brain or in the sky of what they need to be living up to. They have to keep up with this image that they would like to portray. While internally, there's this real feeling of loathing and I'm not good enough at the same time. But if you imagine that whilst you're having this feeling of I never feel good enough, you are ultimately in competition with people, and you're also looking at other people thinking I'm better than you, but you're not good enough either. And this is mean. It's a meanness. It's a scarceness. It's not a feeling of abundance and that there's more than enough wonderful talents and things around, that we don't need to be comparing ourselves to other people. The way that I work with people that have this kind of inferior, superior thing going on is I talk about what their real goals are in life, what really has meaning for them, what would make their life worthwhile. Because oftentimes when people are in that inferior superior game, they've gotten sucked into some kind of social media world or some kind of fake world where they're trying to keep up with something or try to be good enough for something. And this world doesn't sustain or make you feel happy within yourself. It's a zero-sum game. It's a game where it's like mean and stingy and nasty, and it's about comparing yourself and other people not being good enough, and I'm not good enough, and I'm afraid of people. I don't want these people around because when they're around, I feel like she's prettier than me, so I don't want to be around her because she's so pretty, or I don't want to be around him because he's smarter than me. It's almost like there's a finite amount of praise around for pretty people and a finite amount of brains around, so we must grab our piece of this puzzle, of this pizza. And nothing about this game leads to happiness. What really leads to happiness is to get closer to who you are within your honor code. Get closer to who you are with the values and principles that you want to live your life by. And when you are focused on that, that is a much happier game to be playing. It's an abundant game to be playing. And it's a game where we can celebrate all successes. So if somebody beautiful walks into the room, well, that's wonderful. There's a beautiful person that's walked into the room. Everybody sees beauty from a different perspective. Some people might think that person's beautiful, and some people might think that person's more beautiful. Who cares? Beauty is not necessarily going to make that person happy. If they have amazing clothes or amazing car, or they've got an amazing bank account, it doesn't necessarily make them happy either. What makes people happy is to live closer to their principles and their values and their goals within life. So if you're stuck in that space of, why do I always feel inferior? Do take a note of it being like a scale, and that where you are, what you're not saying is, when I am inferior here, I'm superior over there. It's a judgment. It's a judgment that you have on yourself, on other people, and you're constantly comparing things against this list in your head. Nothing about this game is going to make you happy. So make a list instead about what really makes me happy in my life. What is the meaning of my life? What fulfills my soul? These are pursuits that are better. And if you find that, spending lots of time on Instagram or on social media is making you more in this inferior, superior game, it's time to really go on a social media diet and get yourself away from that pursuit. Instead, focus on things that are more important in life and more abundant in life. So I hope that gives you some thought. Until next time, bye.